Well, everyone's calling him a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. He would be offended if people called him a Democrat. So, but he, because of this board thing he was on for Governor Walz, it wasn't to serve. He was just serving the community.
Then they go with the Trump supporter. They saying he's a Trump supporter. His roommate said he was a Trump supporter. He had a hit list with people on it. They were all Democrats who were pro-choice and all this other stuff. Donald Trump ain't never told nobody to do nothing like this. No other conservative want to go out and kill you because you disagree with them. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com, ladies and gentlemen, tis the season for 4th of July. So get you some 4th of July merch. Make sure you put USA 20 to get 20% off. We got the brand new Trump. This Uncle Trump, boy. This shirt's so cool, man. I cannot wait for them to finish printing mine so I can wear it and show you. But that is an incredible shirt. I think some people will like this one. I love this one. It's very simple. And this one right here is incredible as well. Nobody's making merch as cool as the Officer Tatum store. They're just not doing it. So put in USA 20. Also, we have 2-day shipping available. We negotiated a deal with FedEx to get us incredible pricing on 2-day shipping. So that's all we do is 2-day shipping. Just so you know, I want everybody to be clear. 2 days after the product has been fulfilled. So it takes about 24 to 48 hours for the product to be fulfilled. And then the shipping will be 2-day shipping. There's nobody on the internet, unless they work with Amazon, to get you a product that's going to be fulfilled at the volume that we do in less than 24 hours. Now, some people do get their product less than 24 hours, but just as a rule of thumb, give us about 24 hours to fulfill, 24 to 48 hours to fulfill, and then we will ship it to you in 2 days. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get your merch today. All right, let's get to this murderous thug that we didn't get a chance to cover because we wanted to have an actual weekend. This is a crazy situation to me. And the reason why I say it is because I don't know how a person that claims to be a Christian, that claims to be a Trump supporter, would do any of these things that we've seen. I do not understand how this is a real thing. Let me just explain it real quick before we get to the video. No one can claim this person is radicalized through Christianity. Christianity is the most pacifist religion that I know of. Christianity does not preach murdering people. Christianity does not preach hate. There's nowhere in the Bible where it's mentioned that you're supposed to hate your neighbor. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. That means that the Lord will do what he got to do, not you. Jesus preached to no end to be of a non-violent nature. So you can't say his Christian faith caused him to do this because it's not even preached in Christianity to do something like this. Then they go with the Trump supporter. They saying he's a Trump supporter. His roommate said he was a Trump supporter. He had a hit list with people on it. They were all Democrats who were pro-choice and all this other stuff. Donald Trump ain't never told nobody to do nothing like this. No other conservative want to go out and kill you because you disagree with them. It's not a conservative principle to do what he did. But yet they want to use it to make it seem like there's radical white supremacists. And they will overlook all of the damage and destruction from the left. But all of a sudden, they want to make it about Trump. But let's go to the news clip real quick. We got a couple clips associated, and we'll go from there. They did catch the guy, and they found all kind of indicia of him premeditating this stuff. Roll the clip.
Let's get right to breaking news. The man accused of shooting 2 state lawmakers in Minnesota is now in custody facing murder and attempted murder charges.
Police say they are confident that he acted alone, but why remains unclear.
Overnight, authorities capturing Vance Boelter, the man accused of shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses, killing 2 and wounding 2 others.
Law enforcement involved in a complex and dangerous manhunt. Spent Father's Day away from their families to deliver justice for Melissa and Mark Hortman and their children who spent this Father's Day alone.
Authorities arresting the 57-year-old near his farm in the city of Green Isle, finding Boelter with the help of drones and helicopters, saying he was armed but was taken into custody without incident.
The suspect crawled to law enforcement teams and was placed under arrest at that point in time.
Court records show a child of 2 of the victims, State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, called police to report a shooting at their home around 2 a.m. Saturday. Police were then proactively dispatched to the home of former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman. That's where they encountered the masked suspect fleeing the scene after fatally shooting Hortman and her husband. The suspect forced to abandon this SUV resembling a patrol car.
If that had not happened, I have every confidence that this would have continued throughout the day.
So far, no motive has been released. His friend and roommate says Boelter recently faced financial struggles while trying to realize his dream of owning a private security company, and texted him Saturday that he had made some choices and might be dead soon.
Just not say crazy right winger gone nuts and you know, that was all he is, you know. It just bothers me that's his legacy. But I knew him all my life. He wasn't that guy, you know.
Boelter spent time as a preacher, his roommate saying he became less cheerful after a missionary trip to Africa in 2023. Police now reviewing a list of potential targets they say the suspect left behind, including the names of many Democratic lawmakers and abortion rights advocates, along with addresses. Police also say they found at least 3 AK-47 rifles, along with a ballistic vest, a mask, and a police-style badge. A memorial outside the state capitol in Minneapolis now pays tribute to former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband. As for the other 2 victims, shooting survivor Yvette Hoffman revealing she was shot 8 times and her husband 9 times. The violence underscoring a troubling trend. Threats to elected officials are on the rise. Nationally, 43% of state lawmakers reported facing threats during their most recent term in office and the preceding campaign.
The increase in threats against elected officials, something like 1,700 back in 2016, and now we're up to 9,000. This is a rampant problem.
House Republicans reportedly held an emergency call to discuss safety concerns. Democrats are expected to hold a similar call this week.
Well, let me tell you this. The ramp up in threats against politicians is not shocking to me because these people are evil and they're devils and they're trying to destroy the country. However, I will say that there's a way to handle that, and that's to not elect these people. That is to run against these people. That's not to go kill them. And it's asinine to me that this man decided to, you know, make this decision. I will say this, you know, everybody got it in them. I just want people to understand that. You push a person too far, they all got it in them, but they don't make it right. And I hope that this guy get the full measure of the law. He should get the death penalty, if you ask me. So it was very bizarre to see a guy do this, claiming to be a Christian and also claiming to be a Trump supporter. Let's get to some other clips that were here as well. Did we play the press conference? No, I want to play the roommate. This is a little bit of what the roommate had said when he was interviewed before the one you just saw. Roll the clip.
The roommate that I spoke with, David Carlson, he has known Vance for 40 plus years. He said that Boelter didn't express a lot of strong political views, but he did hold some strong opinions about abortion. Here's a little bit of our conversation.
He always had a fascination with military equipment, so do I, but I'm 100 miles away from killing people.
Apparently in his manifesto, there was some stuff about Planned Parenthood.
He had a manifesto?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Was there any beliefs about abortion? Or?
Yeah, he was a strong, but he hasn't talked about abortion for years. I mean, this goes back through the 90s. He really hated abortion. But we hardly ever talked. I haven't talked really about abortion for him for years.
Now, Carlson was very emotional during our conversation. He said that he had no idea or indication that this was coming. I'm also told that receipts for items that were potentially used in this morning's attack were reportedly found in one of those vehicles. So again, the cleanup process is underway here at 4830 in the Camden neighborhood of North Minneapolis, and police are still searching for Vance. Reporting in Minneapolis, Mary McGuire, Fox 9.
So obviously that's an old clip. They found him. But it's very interesting. The roommate, as weird as he seemed pretty genuine. So, you know, when that's when he came out and said that the guy was a Trump supporter. We had that clip. We had that clip too, don't we? Let's play that clip. So when he came out and said he was a Trump supporter, at first I was like, oh, here they go. But then I felt like he sounded very genuine. Even he is saying it's bizarre. It kind of caught him off guard. They don't even talk about these political perspectives as much as they used to. You know, it's not like a thing on his mind. He didn't see this coming. Roll the clip.
Just a little bit. I know that you had some discussions. I just wanted to chat.
Well, everyone's calling him a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. He would be offended if people called him a Democrat. Because of this board thing he was on for Governor Walz, it wasn't to serve. He was just serving the community. But I can't believe a political issue would cause him to do such a thing.
Did he ever bring up the senator or the representative who were targeted?
Like I was saying, no, he never talked about them. I didn't know those people. I didn't recognize their names.
Any politicians he mentioned?
Well, he mentioned Nancy Pelosi. They didn't like Jim Walz.
Tim Walz?
They didn't like Jim Biden. But
Tim Walz? What would you say about him?
Well, I mean, nothing. It's just normal. Well, I don't like this that Tim Walz did this. I don't like that they did that.
Did he mention the protests that were planned for yesterday?
He never mentioned the protests.
What
do you make of everything that's happened here and the fact
Maybe
that
I mentioned it to him, but I don't think he mentioned anything about it.
What would you tell him?
I would tell him to surrender himself so he could be taken alive, because he's like my best friend, so I don't want him to be killed. I don't want him to kill anyone else, you know. So I think if I saw him, I could talk him down, but I don't know where he is.
And did he listen to any particular podcasts or TV shows or anything online that concerns you?
Well, you listen to InfoWars, but I kind of said, well, it's like 50% truth. And, I kind of said, don't take everything what they say for granted. I wasn't a real truthful. I mean, they're on for some things, but some things are way off.
Did he talk much about Trump? And what did he say, if so?
I was a Trump supporter. Voted for Trump. If you like Trump. I like Trump. And,
So that's where people are getting it, that he's a Trump supporter, is that he voted for Trump, whatever, from his roommate saying that. It's just bizarre to me because Trump is not a violent person. He doesn't act violent. He doesn't perpetuate or preach violence. People on the Republican side never really is violent. We don't have a no kings protest, and we're not burning down and killing people and running over people in the middle of the street, setting buildings on fire and looting and stuff because we lost an election. I mean, they had the little dust up at the Capitol building, but that's the only demonstration that you can name in the entire country related to the election, which is supposed to have been the biggest thing that ever happened in the history of the country, the darkest moment of our country. One protest that lasted a couple hours didn't necessitate any use of force for them to walk out of the Capitol. They just left. No National Guard, no nothing. They just left. Not one police officer was assaulted inside of the Capitol building. No one was assaulted inside the Capitol building, except for Ashley Babbitt, who was unjustifiably killed, in my opinion. What a major dust up. And then you go and look at what they're doing all across the country. They're demonstrating and blocking roads, damaging property, setting buildings on fire, looting stores, burning Waymos, assaulting police, throwing rocks at them, trying to kill Border Patrol agents. I mean, you name it. This is what they do. And they've been doing it in 2020. They do it every election cycle. They do it year round. And so it's very bizarre that a man like this would do this, claiming to be a Christian. Let's go to clip 4.
And I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste excité
right
de
here,
Jésus.
right now.
Jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
Je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
Ce que Jésus a fait pour moi.
Jesus is God.
Jésus est
Almighty
Dieu.
God.
C'est le Dieu puissant.
He saved my life.
Il a sauvé ma vie.
I'm excited about God.
Je suis excité de Dieu.
And I want to worship Him.
Et c'est pourquoi je l'adore.
Because He's coming again. And
Jésus, il revient encore.
And He's got plans. He's got plans
de plans
and purposes
et le dessein
for each one of you
pour chacun de vous ici
and for me.
et pour moi aussi.
Well, I don't think his plan was for you to go kill nobody. But these things, when I watch a man act like this, when I watch a man do some of the things he did, volunteering in the community, you just wonder what made this man go get a mask and go and shoot up and had a list of 70 Democrat lawmakers, pro-choice advocates, abortion providers, Tina Smith, Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, Keith Ellison. He had a manifesto, ammo, weapons in his vehicle. His wife was also detained separately for guns, cash, and a passport, or passports, separate with guns, cash, and passports. What in the world is going on here? Now, some people say this is a false flag, that MK Ultra made him do it. I wouldn't be shocked. But I do think it's crazy that this man did this, and he should be held accountable. And I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. I don't care what your theology is. It's never the right thing for you to kill nobody over politics. It may be the right thing for you to hope and pray that they don't go to hell, but for you to go and kill somebody because you disagree with their politics is insanity. Let's go to Merkley, Senator Merkley, blaming Trump for this whole thing. Clip 2. Roll it.
There was a state representative, Democratic leader of the state legislature in Minnesota killed over the weekend, a state senator shot. How would you describe the current political atmosphere in this country this morning?
I feel like Trump has really popped the lid off the rhetoric and the sense of hate and violence and promoted this type of an environment. It's profoundly disturbing for all of us. We have seen increased threats across the country. You're probably familiar with the pizza threats. We've seen more of that where pizzas or other food is delivered to people's families that they haven't ordered. Just to say from the right wing, we know who you are, we know where you live. I can tell you all of our families feel a greatly heightened sense. And just let me just say, my heart goes out to the families in Minnesota. How horrific for the whole country, but particularly we're holding the folks in Minnesota in our hearts.
Yeah, no place in this country for political violence of any kind.
Now, I don't know how Trump don't sue his socks off, in his case, sue his thong off for just blatantly lying. What is Trump saying that is creating violence in this country? That the same thing Barack Obama said, that if you come over here illegally, we're gonna deport you. How does that create violence? Him saying that he wants peace in the Middle East, he wants Iran to come to a peace deal with Israel. That's creating violence. What has Donald Trump said specifically that has encouraged violence in America? There's not one thing. There's not one thing. And this is what bothers me. And I personally feel like that these people are creating violence. These people are saying that Trump is creating violence so their people can be violent against him and Trump supporters.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Making us all look bad when it's all made up BS. All right, let's go to some of these protests real quick that happened, that's still happening. Some of them happened in Phoenix. Nick told me that it was by the grace of God he didn't run nobody over. And I'm glad he didn't, because I'd have had to put up his bail money, and I really don't want to spend that money on his bail. But if he ran over one of these nut jobs, I probably would try to bail him out. All right, let's go to the CNN, MSNBC gaslighting us, saying that this is mostly peaceful 211 times. Let me just say this. The propaganda is dummies like this guy saying Trump is evil, and propaganda like this. Roll the clip.
Shows that a study from the Media Research Center shows that from June 11th to the 12th, CNN and MSNBC personalities insisted the anti-ICE demonstrations were peaceful 211 times.
Say it one more time.
211 times they were peaceful.
Meanwhile.
Call you later.
Looks peaceful to me. Oh, these people are insane. 211 times they said that it was peaceful. As they harassed ICE agents, blocked federal operations, vandalized, and shield illegal aliens from law enforcement. That's peaceful. And they didn't just do it regularly, they did it with force. This is a co-opted mainstream media that's hell-bent on getting everybody confused and getting you to believe something that occurred that didn't actually happen. And it's a shame, y'all, because is this country a violent, evil country? Not necessarily. It can be, but I don't think that it should be. I don't think that it should be.